And I figured, you know what? Since Lola isn't going to be here anymore, I might as well take a video of getting her prepped to go to her new home. So. So basically, in case you don't know, I haven't seen any of my older videos. Lola is a 2015 Ford Interceptor patrol sedan, and people think, oh, just call it a police interceptor. Well, for some reason Ford doesn't call it a police interceptor necessarily, but it does say police interceptor on the back of it. But sometimes on the registration or the late of items, when they sell them, they just show it's a Taurus or a police interceptor or a Ford Interceptor patrol sedan, which is a FIPS for short. So this particular one was used in Wyoming as a highway patrol / state trooper vehicle, along with Roxanne here, which you can't see, but I'm sure you've seen enough videos, if you're following my channel, that you know about all my police cars and my ambulance and my bus and my Mad Max cars. So this one has about 78 or 83,000 miles on it, and it had a semi-tractor trailer get blown over onto it on some highway that was going over a pass that had 80-mile-per-hour winds. And if you want to look up on the Weather Channel, it actually shows this car sitting on the side of the road, and the other car I have, because these cars were both delivered and shipped to the Wyoming Department of Transportation in the same convoy to be used as their state trooper cars. And so this one had this car, I believe, in front of it, and or well, might have been another car, but it was basically two twin turbo EcoBoost, basically the SHO version of the police interceptor that Taurus has in their options of cars. They have front wheel drive ones, they have all wheel drive ones, they have a 3.7 EcoBoost. I think they have some of them that have a 2.0 EcoBoost, which was very short lived. And then they have the 3.5 V6 EcoBoost. And that's what these two are. So this one was sitting while tickets were being written and citations being made for people that were driving semi-tractors when they were told not to drive over this pass, while another semi-tractor that was in the number 2 lane, traveling at a low speed, that wasn't supposed to be there anyways. It was a Volvo semi-tractor with a trailer that was apparently empty. You see on the video, it looks almost like it's in slow motion. It gets blown over onto this car, and that's where I got the name for the car, was Lola, because she's my little saying for her was that she got squashed flatter than warm cherry cola, and plus Lola, the song, I think by the Kinks, is Lola looks like a girl that smells like a man, or whatever. I forget the name. I know the name of the song and know where it goes, but I don't remember the words. But she didn't look like she looks now because of this major transformation from just a police car to the one that got squashed, the Squash Squad car that was on the Weather Channel and has probably like 3 or 4 million views right now, if not 4 or 5 million views by now. Because when I got the car, I actually buy the cars from this site, which I would tell you the name, but I'm not thrilled with them really anymore. I don't know if I'm not thrilled with them, but I'm not thrilled with some experiences I've had, which made me kind of stop doing those types of purchases. But they're nice because I don't have to go to an auction, a physical auction where they've got just seas of cars that have been sitting and have been taken from departments at a discounted rate and sold to the public. I actually find out about the cars, do research on them on this online venue that allows me to purchase the cars directly from the departments and through fleet services or the Department of Transportation, whoever it may be that actually had the car. So I'm literally the second owner. These are one owner cars that I get from the department, and I get them from the places that they were maintained and serviced and used. And if I'm lucky, I can find out some background information from the department that was maintaining them. So these cars have been maintained, been taken care of. The one that I have here, Roxanne, she only has 43,000 miles on it, and I bought her with 39,000, and it's a 2015 Ford Taurus SHO, but it's the police interceptor version. So it's got the reinforced chassis reinforcement, which is like almost a floor roll cage, if you will, because these are a unibody car. And the car doesn't fare too well when it's sitting on the side of the road idle and it gets hit by a motorist who gets the deer in the headlights thing and just kind of like fades over into the breakdown lane and hits the back corner of one of these cars at about 60, 70 miles an hour. So these are actually designed to not survive the accident, but to make the occupants realistically a survivable crash if they get hit sitting from at the rear at like 60 or 70 miles an hour. So they're a real sturdy, stout car. This car had a semi-tractor trailer literally land on it and looked like it crushed it to nothing. But since the trailer was empty, the trailer just basically collapsed, almost like an empty tissue box if you put it down over, one a 1/16th scale, model car or something. The box collapsed around the car. And if you imagine that car made out of maybe a heavier, like maybe if you made a foil body out of one of those aluminum foil pie pans or something, that had some resistance and some strength to it. You'd still bang it up and kind of crush it a little bit, but the car still runs and drives and everything functions on it. I did do some forklift and high lift jack and hydraulic stuff to push the roof up a little bit, but for all intents and purposes, it's a running, driving, functioning car still, not a police car anymore. But definitely doesn't look like it looked when it came out of the womb from, I think, either Illinois or Detroit, Michigan, where it was manufactured. Or I don't know if these were built in Canada. I don't think they were. I know a lot of the Crown Vics were built in Canada. But yeah, so he's going to try and do what I was going to try and do, which was he's going to rebody the car, and not with another Ford Taurus body. I was going to put a 1954 Dodge Coronet Suburban station wagon body on it, which is a two-door station wagon, like a sport wagon, that has the correct wheelbase and almost same track width too. And then before that I considered putting a Ranchero body on it, or a Ford Falcon wagon. I love wagons, but a Ranchero would be fine. I'd put a little camper shell on it or whatever, because I'd like to still keep the seats. It's a carpeted car. The nice thing about buying a highway patrol or state trooper car is that they don't actually transport. It's kind of a funny thing I like to say is state troopers and highway patrol take no prisoners. Well, they technically don't. They stop somebody if they need to stop somebody that needs to be taken into custody or arrested. They might have them sit in the car for a short period of time to keep them safe and out of the roadway, but they usually call local law enforcement and bring like a beat cop car out to transport, because the highway patrol and state troopers don't have a jail or a prison normally. They're just basically patrolling our highways and interstates. So the cars are fully carpeted inside, no snot mat on the bottom, which I like to call, because they normally have just a rubber mat on the bottom, a textured mat, so you can clean the cars out when they have SB or P in them, which you can guess what SB and P stands for. They had back seats, they had functioning rear doors. I didn't have to really do anything. They did come with some parts to put the little lock buttons in, but you just turn a little knob in the back of the doors, which I found out the hard way. I took one of the doors completely apart on Roxanne to put all the functioning components and the rods in like you do on a Crown Victoria, but it was all there. I just had to pop a little plastic cap off that had a Sharpie, a white, not a Sharpie, but some type of chalk mark on it. You pop it off and you turn that, and it's another version of your child safety lock thing, but it's more permanent. It's still semi-permanent, but rear doors function, and then the lock button was easy, just a snap-in little deal, so I could have the lock buttons, and then to roll the windows up and down, there was just a plug I had to plug in, and fully functioning car with a full normal texture fabric rear seat that's just the same fabric as the front seats. So both cars came with complete interiors. This one just had some broken windows and a little bit of water damage, mainly from snow, not so much rain, and hail damage. Both of them have hail damage on them. So, but this car didn't have Roxanne didn't have any broken windows. This one had, the windshield was still there and intact, but it was cracked and broken. With it being laminated, it was still intact, but I ended up knocking it out. The driver's side window still works and is intact. The passenger side rear door, out of all the things on the entire car that got destroyed, the front bumper, the rear bumper, and the passenger side rear door were untouched. So I had to change a tire on the rear and the rim, because the rim actually got flattened on the bottom from the weight of the semi-tractor, and I was able to get the car started up and drive it onto a trailer, and it just ended up being like a good car. I was getting it for like maybe another parts car for the other Roxanne, and then I ended up coming across another car in Georgia that is a perfect donor car to either finish Roxanne. Because I'll tell you the story about Roxanne later, because this video is going to take too long. But I have 3 cars and could make 2 really good cars out of all 3. But this car is actually going to end up getting a 1965 Mustang body on it, hopefully. Because I chickened out on what I was doing. I still have the body, but I really don't have any use for another project. And he's got a 65 Mustang that runs, drives, and works, but it needs to be completely gone through. And the motor needs to be rebuilt or replaced. The front suspension needs to be rebuilt or updated. It's got the stock rear end. It's a 5-lug car. Was V8 283 car. But when I was doing my research to see if I could find a car that had the right wheelbase and the right track width and basically the same dimensions to put just a cooler body on to a newer car, so I'd have the Bluetooth, the power seats, the air conditioning, the cruise control, all the modern day available components that weren't available in an older vehicle. And what's really cool is he's doing it with a 65 Mustang. It's a 2015 car. So the years are just, I think they're 40 years apart. I believe. I'm not sure, but it's cool that that you're going from a 65 to 2015. So we're going to see if we can make it work. It'd be a 4-wheel drive, twin turbo, V6, police interceptor, guts, and a 1965 Mustang. So I hooked it to a better charger now. This battery seems to want to fall on its face after a while. And I don't know if I ended up getting it put together soon enough for this video to get it started. But let's see if she cranks up. If I can find the keyhole in the dark. Now, I'm gonna have to get a booster or something. No, it's going to take a little bit. Take a look here and see. Somehow I get this strange feeling I just got a really bad connection. Well, we're gonna have to let that simmer for a bit, but I'll probably take a video anyways of when she ends up heading out of here, to say the least. I just wanted to make a little video while I had a chance, so you guys could see what she's about, where she's going. She's got almost as clean a motor as Roxanne does. I guess I can check what the mileage is now, since I haven't bothered to look at that for a while. Oh, it's got 72,000 miles, so it's even got less mileage than I thought. Needs a little bit of a detail, to say the least. So, but yeah, this is, this is what she looks like for the most part. I've got some aftermarket wheels, not aftermarket wheels, these are Ford Explorer wheels and tires, and these are what they usually come with. This is the body damage that we have on Roxanne, which is actually from a travel trailer sliding into it on literally a slippery slope, which is what took this car out of commission at about 39,000 miles. This car I've maybe put about 20 miles or so driving it around every so often, but I'll make a good video of the body and how good it runs, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna let the battery simmer for a little bit. I'm probably gonna clean up the terminals. I think that's majority of the culprit. And oh, he wants me to do the blow-off valve delete, which I'm gonna leave the blow-off valve in